For coming out this evening. My name is Demetrius McBride. I'm a local minister here as well as an educator, and most of all, I'm a son of the city. We want to have a good conversation about black men and community and the future of Georgia. So with no further ado, starting with my left, I'm just coming around, I'm gonna let you all introduce yourselves. Jason Wilson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joshua Glass. I'm a junior at Columbus State University. I'm also the president of Collegian 100, which is also known as the Talented 10th Chapter at Columbus State University. We're comprised of 30 young men, 30 young black men that are on the campus of CSU. That are striving to excel outside of the walls of the campus and abroad. Also targeted for mentorship and community service. Thank you.
Awesome, guy.
Well, thank you, Demetrius, and thank you, Mr. Estevez, for a great program today. My name is Marquise Averett. I am a candidate for House District 140. I like to think of myself as an organizer by training and an activist by passion, and I am certainly glad to be here today.
Good evening, everyone. My name is George McDowell, and I am the product of Columbus, Georgia, born and raised right here. Spent some time in the Navy, some great times, got to travel the world, see how things are done overseas. Ended up right back here in Georgia. Columbus, this is my home, I love it here. But then, of course, we have some issues that need to be tackled. But entrepreneur, activist, and I just, want to make a difference.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Sir, thank you for joining us. Brother McBride, thanks for bringing us all together. My name is Rocky Marsh, United States Army retired air traffic controller. I'm currently a budget analyst on Fort Benning. Excited for this conversation because I think it does not happen enough for people to come together and engage in this total conversation. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
And of course, our gubernatorial candidate.
Yeah, so appreciate y'all brothers for getting together to have this important discussion. I'm Jason Estevez. I'm proud to be running to be governor of the state of Georgia. But most importantly, I'm from Columbus, Georgia. I'm from the South Side, right off of Victory Drive. And I believe that this is an important conversation to have all over the state. And I've been having this conversation all over the state because I want to make sure that as we look at how to improve the state of Georgia, how to make sure everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Economic opportunity part of the mental health education and violence prevention. So we want to kick it off with the first topic, and that's going to be mentorship in young black men. And so the question we have for you, Jason, and for the panel is, when you look at the current state of young black men in our communities and across the state of Georgia, what do you believe is the biggest gap that we must address right now? Is it mentorship, exposure, accountability? What do you think it could be?
Yeah, look, I think it's the loss of hope in our young people. And a lot of it is being driven by the technology. The fact that our young men in particular are not getting the mentorship, they're not getting the face-to-face opportunities that we may have received in the past.
What we struggle with in our community is that we feel as if we have to be something in order to be a mentor, right? That you have to have your degrees, that you have to have everything together, that you have to, you have to be this picture perfect person. But no, we need barbers to be mentors. We need mechanics to be mentors. We need just good people who are good members of society. And so my mother, I watched my mother start a business in our house growing up. And so she took the first two rooms, our living room and our dining room. I did not have that growing up. It was a daycare center in our house. And so you could always catch 8 to 10 people, little children in our house at any given time, singing and doing what children do. And watching her and investing with her and coming into ownership with her, I realized that we really don't understand the cost of how much it costs to open a business.
What is the most realistic pathway toward economic empowerment for black families today over in Georgia and in Columbus?
So I would say learn the trade. Young men, especially African-American young men, they need a trade.
And my father was a single father till I was about 8 or 9 years old. He was also a small business owner running an all-state firm agency at the time, being a single father. I had a role model in the home to show me what it looks like to be a man, and when my father remarried, it just made a unit together again. Question I have for you is, how important is the presence of strong fathers and male role models to the long-term stability of our community?
I think it's incredibly important. And my father is in the room right now. He's right there. And look, I want to make a point because in our community, there's a stigma around the absenteeism of black males in their families. And I think that we have to do all that we can to break that stereotype, break that stigma, because there are plenty of examples where it's not true.
That's right.
And we need to be lifting those examples of where black fathers are in the lives of their kids, are present.
I didn't realize, my stepdad, he came into my life and I was like, you ain't my daddy, But I didn't realize that in a lot of ways he was my dad. He taught me how to dress, how to tie ties, how to drive. That's a dad, right? And so I think that sometimes we look for, my grandfather was in my life. And my teachers and my principals, they had a shared interest in me. And so I think that, going back to what y'all said, is that sometimes fatherhood looks different, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be your biological father to be a dad in your life.
Silence. How do we break the stigma around emotional wellness, not just getting physically fit? I'm the only big one up here, but not just getting physically fit, but emotional wellness while still encouraging strength, accountability, and resilience. How do we open that conversation with our community? I want to close out our discussion by focusing on something near and dear to my heart, and Jason, you were in that field, education. Education, but also violence prevention and where we go from here. So, when we talk about violence prevention in the future of our communities, where should the priority begin? Is it education, as I believe? Is it economic investment, mentorship, public safety? Where do you think it should start?
Yeah, I think that when you think about public safety, it starts with education. There's a reason why the people who plan on prisons look at third grade reading levels when planning, right? It starts with education.
Like you said, that's one of our models. What you see is what they'll be. I tell my guys all the time, I'm like, if you can go out and party at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can go out and vote. You can go out and do something productive. But that's a support system. Come together as churches, radio, TV, whatever it is, get your voice out there and be heard. Even the small family we have right now today, with a group of people that is coming through the ear, or it's coming out the mouth, is going through the ear. Right? Everyone is acknowledging the fact that whatever topic that we're discussing, that we're all in some sort of agreement. So
today, while we're in the electoral process, people who that are leading the charge of things we want, those people have to be put into position to make the space that we can actually pursue these things. So that's the one thing I'll say.
Show up and support. George, one action item or commitment our community, can take immediately to create meaningful change for black men and boys.
So I would say continuing to show up. We have to be there for young people. We have to be the example that they want to see. People, young men, young women, they look at the people in their community. They see what they want to be. They see those, whether it be a rapper, actor, what have you. But us, we just have to take them, young men, young women by the hand and bring them along. If you see something, say something. So that's what I believe. You just have to lead by example.
Jason, I'm gonna let you close this out, so I'm gonna come to speak. It's gonna be one commitment.
Well, I've been organizing since I was a kid, and one of the reasons why I like political organizing is because you can see tangible results almost immediately. And the most tangible result we can arrive at is May 19th, when we can put new leadership into office. What we are seeing right now in Alabama, and what we are seeing in Tennessee and Louisiana and South Carolina and Mississippi, with the Republican Party literally stripping away representation for black people, ought to make all of us fired up. It ought to make all of us want to get out and vote. And so we have to lose this spirit of being lazy and ungrateful and apathetic to the process, and realize that we might not have an opportunity to vote in 2 years. And so we so many times take democracy for granted, but nobody promised us that this democracy would always be here. And so I leave with this, is that we have to wake up every day fighting for our democracy. Democracy isn't about voting once every 2 years. It's a 365-day-a-year sport. And so we have to make sure that we're showing up in our community, that we're showing up at city council, we're showing up at school board, we're showing up to the state house, and that we're letting our voices be heard. And so if you really want to make change, not only in our community, but in our state, I say that that opportunity exists on May the 19th.
Reverend A. Every 2 years for 365 days. Hopefully tonight is not the end. Hopefully tonight is not the end.
This evening, I want to remind everybody that after this, we have a block party right outside.
Come on.
So join us there. But look, at the end of the day, I'm going to go back to our children. We have to pour into our children, especially our babies.